Hi, I'm Reb Myron. I'm a minister through Pathways of Light, and I've been a Course in Miracles student for 44 years. I'm going through the lessons again this year, asking Jesus for clarity, and then I write from that clarity. And that's what I'm sharing with you today. So let's get started. We're looking at lesson 154. I am among the ministers of God. I am a minister, and I make every effort to faithfully serve as a minister of God. I do this first with my thoughts. When they're not in alignment with the thoughts that represent God, I change my mind. I do it with my words, written and spoken, and with my actions. I trust in my willingness, and that is all the Holy Spirit needs from me to deliver the message. In doing this, I become the message that God would have me share. I do this imperfectly, and that's okay. I pay particular attention to this paragraph from Lesson 154, paragraph 2. Whatever your appointed role may be, it was selected by the voice for God, whose function is to speak for you as well. Seeing your strengths exactly as they are and equally aware of where they can be best applied for what, to whom, and when, He chooses and accepts your part for you. He does not work without your own consent, but he's not deceived in what you are and listens only to his voice in you. The day I was ordained, I went off to be by myself, to get centered after all the joyful celebration. As I sat in the gazebo surrounded by the silent stillness of the woods, I began to gather myself. Then I thought about what I had done. Years of dedication to study, and now I am a minister. It was thrilling and a little overwhelming. Then I began thinking about what came next. The training was complete, and now as a minister, how would I use this? The ceremony is over. I've been anointed and accepted my role as a teacher of God. But what would that look like? Back home, I am deep in the Bible Belt, and I have never met a woman minister, nor did I know about a church that would accept my understanding of God and our place in Him. Well, that thought burst my balloon, but then I realized that was ego's voice, and I refused to accept it as truth. In that moment between joy and disenchantment, I made a decision for God. I said out loud to Him that I would go where He sent me and do what He instructed. I would always say yes. Honestly, on a conscious level, I was just trying to chase away the blues, but the hair stood up on my arms, and I recognized that more was going on here than I realized. This was the Holy Spirit listening to His voice in me and accepting my solemn vow. I've stayed true to it to the best of my ability ever since. While facilitating those who also feel called to the ministry or who want to be spiritual counselors, I know what they plan. I sometimes, I tell them how they might use certain ideas they're studying. Sometimes they think they already know what they plan to do on ordination. I encourage them to keep their minds open to a higher power. As Jesus tells us in this lesson, the Holy Spirit chooses and accepts your part for you. I'm so glad that I allowed Him to guide me to my next steps. I would never have guessed what my ministry would entail or believed I could do this. Yet here I am, and I've loved every moment of it. But this was my personal journey. We are all teachers. It's up to us if we teach for God or for ego. In the same way, having chosen this path, we all are already among the ministers of God. Ordination is not necessary. Don't let this idea scare you. Jesus reassures us that all is well. And he tells us this, and that one voice appoints your function and relays it to you, giving you the strength to understand it, do what it entails, and to succeed in everything you do that is related to it. Now, isn't that very encouraging? I've had times when I didn't feel like I had succeeded, but I've come to understand that while we make mistakes, our overall direction is one of success. I believe in my ministry because I believe in God's love and trust His voice. We do not decide what our function is. We simply accept it and allow it to be expressed through us. My part has always been simple. Listen to the message and deliver it faithfully. It seems to be enough. We can all do this. The message is always one of innocence and unity, however it is packaged in everyday language. I humbly accept that I am not the writer of the message. I just share what I receive. The bonus I get from my work is that I am the first receiver of His loving message. As I teach, I learn. As I give, I receive. And he tells us also, and this is in Lesson 154, the messengers of God perform their part by their acceptance of His message as for themselves and show they understand the message by giving it away. Isn't this an efficient way to spread the word and help each other on this journey home? It generally happens in very mundane ways. Someone is grieving and I let them tell me about it, or I just sit in silence with them. I let the Holy Spirit guide me in what to say or do in each individual case. What I'm actually doing, though, is letting her know she is not separate and alone. Maybe you've had the opportunity to support someone in this simple way. Thank you for being a minister of God. I've learned that as I help others, I help myself. So I can say with confidence, I am among the ministers of God, and I'm grateful that I have the means by which to recognize that I am free. And in recognizing my freedom, I help remind our brothers and sisters of theirs. Thank you so much for joining me in this reading. I hope that you found it helpful. If you did, then please like it. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. And I'll be back soon with another reading. See you then.